So today we're going to teach Justin how to be clipped with electric clippers. First off, I want to say you never ever tie a horse with a stud chain, and you also never tie a horse to a pipe panel. Neither is safe. Justin's in training for being tied. Kino's helping. And I have the rope wrapped once around the bar, so if he were to pull back, he can get back, but I have control of him and can teach him to submiss. Because I have trained him to submiss to the stud chain, there's no reason for him to pull back. So this is teaching him to stand quietly and tie nicely, but I would never tie him in a stud chain, nor would I tie him to a pipe panel. So what we're going to do with the clippers is first we're going to let him smell and see the clippers while they're off, and I'm going to touch his face with them and let him see that they're friendly. And I'm going to pet his neck a little bit with them. He doesn't like that too much, so we'll ask him to come back up and submiss. Good boy. I'm going to turn the clippers on, but I'm going to have them away from him when I turn them on. And then I'm going to let him just kind of get used to that sound coming towards him. And I'm going to let him touch my fingers rather than the clippers so that he can feel the sensation and he can smell them. Since he went back, I asked him to come up and submiss to the chain. So now I'm going to bring it back, let him sniff it, feel the vibration, hear the sound, but I'm not actually touching him with the clippers. And he's doing really well. He licked his lips. That means he's calm. So now I'm going to touch him with the back side of the clippers. First we make him move up and submiss. Let him sniff it. Licked his lips again. That's good. And now I'm touching him with the vibrating clipper. That's fabulous, fabulous. So now I'm going to turn around so that I can kind of move them up around his neck. So I keep them away from him when I turn around. And then I'm going to take them and put him out here. He moves into me whenever he's nervous because that's what I've trained him to do. And I'm going to try holding them up a little bit because they're going to go up higher to get near the top of his neck. I'd like to shave him a little bridle path because he has a very thick mane and forelock. So I'm going to bring it over towards his neck, and as long as he's being good, I'll come in closer, and again, I'm going to touch him with my fingers, not with the clippers. He's nervous about it, but he's good, so now I'm going to ask him to drop his head a little bit. Very, very soft pressure, hardly any. I always release when he releases. Now I'm going to bring him up closer to where he'd be clipped, and he came right into me because that's what I've taught him. When you're afraid, come into me. And I'm going to hold them up here. And now I'm going to see if he will drop his head and submiss for me while he has these clippers up there. There we go. It's very important that he understands, even if there's a helicopter landing next to us, if I say submiss the head, we submiss the head. I say that's a perfect training for him. I just wanted to get this experience, and he passed with an A. Thank you. Now we're going to let Justin learn a little bit about water today so that we can get ready to have a bath. I'm actually hoping to give him a bath tomorrow. I've brought him over here and had Kino the Appaloosa stand here, and I've hosed Kino while he has watched to see that there's no reason to be afraid of it. But he's not yet been hosed. I have let him drink out of the hose, and he's actually pretty good with that. So we'll see if he wants to do it. Oh, and once again, he's not actually tied right now because this is a pipe panel. I will not tie to a pipe panel. He does have a stud chain on. I will not tie with the stud chain. I'm wrapped once around the pole, so if he pulls back, I've got some leverage, and then he's not going to go anywhere, but he is not tied. Okay, so I'm going to let him see the water a little bit first because we've done that when I'm filling the water troughs. I let him see it. I've let it splash on his legs as it's doing now. Sometimes he wants to play with it a little and take a drink, but that's in the stall. That might be different. There we go. It's on his mouth. So he gets a chance to lick it, play with it. I'm not trying to get his face wet. He got nervous. He moves into me. He always does that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and try to hose his legs a little bit. What I like to do is just start gently on the legs and make sure you're not in the range if he strikes out that he's going to strike you with that front leg. And just let him get a feel for that water on there, and he can feel it running down on the ground, and he can feel it splashing on the other leg, and he's doing fabulous. His ears are back because he's looking at the water. That's not an aggressive back. That's where his eyes are. Wherever a horse's ears are pointing, that's where his eyes are looking. So both of his eyes are looking back at it. Now what'll be scarier for him is when I move this to the inside of the opposite leg. That's a little freaky. And this horse is he's just a gem. He's just a gem. I've had him for 4 months now, but for over 2 months in the winter, it was snowing and muddy, and I really just let him be a horse, and I really didn't play with him. So I'm going to let him come up by his face again. Oops, he didn't like that. See if I can move him over a little. I wanted to just bring it up by his mouth and see if he wanted to test it out again. Sometimes it's helpful if you put your hand right here and make a little bit of a little water dish, and yep, he's lapping it up. That way it's a fun experience for him and not a nasty, harsh one. And again, I've been doing this in the stall when I fill his waterer so that he knows water's fun. It's not an evil thing. This horse is so amazing at how easily he does everything. So he's actually drinking this right now, which is really making it be his friend. It's not his enemy at all. And he's letting it splash up on his nostrils. So I'm going to let him feel it on his legs again. And then I'm going to go ahead and give a try to the back legs, which of course could be a little bit trickier, and he's half in the sun. I'm hoping he'll go in the sun once the water touches him. There we go. Now he could get scared and pull back on the fence here, but he's not leaning on this rope at all. I have no pressure on it, and neither does he. Now I'm doing the inside of the other back leg. That's pretty scary because that's a vulnerable point. I'm up to the height of the hocks, and he's doing absolutely fantastic. Now, I'm not going to give him a bath right now because our sun is actually setting for the day. I just wanted to see if we could stand here quietly. I really appreciate that he stands still quite often, and I try to really reinforce that with him and do things quietly, and that we just stand and we don't need to fuss around, and it's paying off right here. If I were going to give him a complete hosing today, I would work my way up to his chest. I like to let him get their legs used to the temperature, and I like to get their chest and shoulder area used to the temperature. Don't just squirt their back. That's like somebody squirting your back with cold water. You really wouldn't like it. When it comes to washing horses' faces, I believe in taking the water up to here and having it facing this way. Try not to get any water in their ears. I don't believe in standing back and horse's face as many people do. If they get water in their ears, they would literally have to turn their head upside down to shake it out. You or I get water, we go like that, it comes out. Horse would have to turn upside down, so let's try not to ever get water in their ears. And when you blast their face like this, which is what I see a lot of people do, that's terrifying. So when I get to the point I give him a bath, I'll work my way up here, and if he lets me get the hose on his cheek area, I can work my way up to washing his face all the way up to between his eyes. Getting up here is more challenging, and it's almost easier with a mop and a bucket or a spray bottle. And so I'm going to let him have one more little drink. He liked it better when I cupped with my hand. And it made it a fun day, and this water is his friend, and I am 100% thrilled and appreciative of what a great little horse this is. And that was our water training for the day. Thank you. So we've all experienced this scenario. You're having one of the most perfect days, out enjoying your horse, when all of a sudden, out of the blue, your horse goes totally bonkers. So much for your perfect day, right? In the blink of an eye, you go from having a magical, almost movie-like moment to wondering why in the world you have a horse in the first place. Because you deserve to have a horse that's calm, focused, easy to handle, and certainly a pleasure to ride. You can help your horse to be their very best, every day, at every event, and on every ride. Thanks to the one-of-a-kind new calming product for horses who are high-strung, nervous, spooky, cranky, or suffering from PMS. Serene by Nature Cream is the new, innovative, effective, and all-natural way to safely support and balance your horse's endocrine system. This metabolic formula was created to help naturally support horses during all their regular seasonal cycles, promoting calmness, focus, and a consistently good attitude in the ring and out on the trail. And don't forget to share us with your friends and family on your social media.